Since the 1950s, millions of people have shared the exact same midnight ritual. Before opening their car doors, they pause, drop their gaze, and scan the dark space beneath the chassis, looking for an attacker that does not exist. The story goes like this. You're walking to your vehicle in a dead quiet parking lot. As you reach for the door handle, a man hiding beneath the car suddenly lashes out with a knife. He slashes your ankles, dropping you to the pavement completely helpless, before taking your keys and driving off. Folklorists trace this panic to the mid-20th century. As expansive suburban shopping centers like this thrift mart sprang up across America, so did massive parking lots. Soon, warnings began circulating, primarily targeting women shopping alone, about gangs initiating new members by slicing the ankles of unsuspecting shoppers. There is a glaring problem with this story. Searching through decades of police records, major crime databases, and hospital admissions reveals zero verified cases of this ever happening. Mathematically, the slasher under the car is a ghost, which leaves us with a fascinating psychological puzzle. Why do our logic centers immediately shut down when we hear this specific rumor? Why do we override the statistics and surrender to a threat we have never actually seen? Picture yourself walking to your car at 2 in the morning. The streetlights are buzzing, your footsteps echo on the concrete, and there's a heavy silence hanging in the air. You feel a sudden urge to check your blind spots. That urge isn't new. The slasher is the adult psychological equivalent of the childhood monster under the bed, the same primal entity, just updated for a new environment. Consuming scary stories leaves a permanent residue on our psyche. It's the reason a 2-hour movie about a great white shark keeps people out of the ocean for the rest of their lives, or why you might still open your eyes through the shampoo in the shower, half expecting to see a hand reaching out. Urban legends succeed by hijacking that deeply ingrained primal fear of the dark. They take the mundane, boring environments of our adult lives, like an empty parking garage, and overlay them with the terrifying shadows of our childhood. If we apply basic physics to the legend, it falls apart immediately. Most standard cars sit about 6 to 8 inches off the ground. The logistics required for an adult human to wedge themselves into that narrow gap, maintain the mobility to swing a weapon with force, and then quickly scramble out to steal your keys before someone hears your screams are absurd. It is a physical impossibility. This chart shows the real dangers present in parking lots. On the left, we have 0 recorded instances of ankle slashers. On the right, we see the actual, highly documented threat. Over 7,500 pedestrian fatalities in 2022 alone, largely caused by distracted drivers and poor lighting. Yet our brains actively ignore that towering bar of data. We don't anxiously scan for people texting at the wheel because driver inattention is boring. It doesn't trigger our fight-or-flight response. We prefer to focus entirely on the zero data anomaly. Our spatial awareness is completely misdirected. Given the choice between a genuine danger and an interesting lie, human psychology reliably chooses the lie. If a part of us subconsciously knows the physics don't work, why do we compulsively hit forward on that warning email? Why do we keep telling our friends and family to check under their cars? Sociologists point to a concept called liquid modernity, the state of living in a constantly shifting, unstable world, where massive threats like a collapsing economy or global disease are completely out of our individual control. Our anxiety is formless, swirling around us, until we condense it into one specific sharp threat. The human brain doesn't know how to fight a vague, invisible economic crisis, but it does know how to dodge a knife. By inventing a tangible, physical monster in the parking lot, we relieve our psychological pressure. We create a villain we can theoretically defeat simply by looking down. And sharing that story serves a profound social utility. When you warn a friend about the slasher, you're participating in a community bonding device. It is an evolutionary way of saying, the world feels dangerous right now, and I want to protect you from it. Believing these legends is an act of psychological survival. We transform the overwhelming chaos of modern life into a single, solvable problem. These myths expose something deeply ingrained in our nature. We are highly communal creatures, navigating a complex society, and we are desperate to feel some sense of control over our daily environment. From hooks on door handles to slashers waiting by your tires, these myths provide a shared vocabulary for society to voice its collective unspoken dread. Given a vast, uncertain universe, our brains always choose to put a face on the unknown, because it is infinitely easier to cope with the dark when you know exactly where to point your fear. What other urban legends do you think we created just to manage our modern anxiety? Let us know your theories in the comments below, and as always, keep questioning your own daily glitches. Thanks for watching BrainLags.